Hello, in this short video I wanted to talk through what's included in the new release of Chocolatey Central Management, which is version 0.5.0. So let's dig in. So if we go to the Chocolatey website and look at the Central Management section, then we can find the release notes. And then in here we'll find all of the information that's included in the 0.5.0 release. So there is a breaking change, or potentially a breaking change within the release, and I want to talk a little bit about that before we talk about the other things. Now, in previous releases of Chocolatey Central Management, we said that while it's not recommended, it is possible to install the CCM service as a non-administrator user with specific permissions set up. But in this release, what we're saying now is that that's not going to be possible. In order to facilitate reliable message processing from the Chocolatey agent, what we're saying now is that the Chocolatey Central Management Service has to be installed as an administrator on the machine. So if you previously installed a CCM service with a non-administrator user, then you are likely to see issues if and when you upgrade to the 0.5.0 release. So in that scenario, I would recommend that you reach out to the support team and we can guide you through what needs to happen in order to make that function going forward. But that specific change is regarding to message processing handling. So there's more information on the linked issue here, but essentially what it came down to is that there was a certain circumstance where if you're dealing with a very high number of Chocolatey agents contained within a deployment, then there was the potential that some of the report ins wouldn't make it into the system correctly, and effectively a deployment would be stalled at that point because it would still be waiting for the machine to report in, even though it had already reported in. So what we've had to add in this release is a much more resilient mechanism for ensuring that those messages get into the CCM service. And there are links off in this GitHub issue that's linked from the release notes that go into more detail about the configuration behind that and also the kind of thought process behind it. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that if that's something that you're interested in. The other things that were included within this release was there was a fix for FIPS compliance. So what I mean by that is if on a server you have enabled the group policy for FIPS compliant checksums, then Chocolatey has a feature that you can enable where it will use FIP compliant checksum utility tools under the hood. So Chocolatey itself could handle that without any problems. The CCM website did have an issue though. So if you were on a machine where FIPS compliance was enabled, then the website would effectively say, I'm not going to work. So in this release, we have fixed that now. So the difference here being that Chocolatey has a feature flag that you can enable FIPS compliance checksums, whereas in CCM, we just decided that we would use FIPS compliance where it was needed. So there's no feature flag to turn on to enable it. It simply will be now compliant. So if you had this issue before and you had to get an exemption for that group policy, so it's turned off on the server that you're running the CCM website on, that's no longer the case. You can re-enable that FIPS compliance checksum and carry on. The final one I wanted to talk about was that it's an improvement in the packaging process. But all of the packaging scripts that's contained within the CCM packages are now Authenticode signed with the Chocolatey software Authenticode certificate. So what I mean by that is, so this is the installed version of Chocolatey Central Management on my machine. If I right click and open these files in Notepad++, what we'll see if we scroll down is that there is now a signature block at the bottom, which is the Authenticode certificate that Chocolatey software owns. So what you can rely on now is that what's contained within this script is what we are shipping to you. So previously that signature was being omitted. That was a failure in our build process, which we've now corrected. So every single PowerShell script that is contained within all of the CCM packages are now Authenticode signed in the same way that all of the scripts for Chocolatey licensed, etc., they're all Authenticode signed as well. So that's really all the things that I wanted to talk about in this release. If there are any questions, definitely reach out to the support team and we can answer any questions that you might have about this release. But hopefully these changes are going to be helpful. And if not, we would love to hear some feedback. So thank you very much for listening.